What is happening, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be maintenance our Duromax run quiet generator. This is the XP2000EH. So this is a 2000 watt max generator. These things are amazing. We built this whole entire shop with this generator pretty much. We ran all of our power tools from table saw, everything on it, and it runs amazing. And we have unfortunately neglected it quite a bit. So now it's time to do a big tune-up on it. We're going to change the oil. We're going to clean the spark arrestor. That's the little end cap on the muffler that keeps flame from blowing out of it. And they can get sooted up, so those do need cleaned. We're going to clean our spark plug. We're just going to check everything out and clean the air filter. So we do run straight gasoline in this. We've never had a problem with this thing starting. It starts with like 2 pulls. It'll push an AC system in a camper or something. They're great generators. We love them, and make sure to check out the links in the video description. So what we're going to do first is pull this side cover off. This is going to expose the side of the engine. It's just 2 Phillips head screws right here and right here. So, and it'll pop down. And it just hinges right off there. It has some sound dampening. This is how it stays so quiet because it is fully packed up. We've ran this generator as long as 12 hours at a time. Never had it overheat, never had it fail us. To change the oil, you're going to notice the standard if you mess with go-karts. Here's the dipstick. Let's go ahead and check it and see how horrible it is. Now you basically want your oil to be full enough to run out this. You can see ours isn't low, but it is. It's actually not horrible. It's burnt, obviously, but it smells a little bit like gas because you're going to have blow-by in any engine. Blow-by is pressure escaping past the piston, and in that pressure there's going to be gas fumes and stuff that collects in your oil. That's why you need to do oil change. That's why oil gets tore down from the heat and the gasoline from the blow-by. So if you smell your oil and you smell gas, it's time to change it. And also if you're smelling gas in your oil like really early and the oil's still new looking, that means you probably got a compression problem. You got bad rings or something. So how you drain the oil is we take this cap back off. So what we're going to be using to drain this oil is I bought this Forma funnel off of Amazon. Links to any tool is located down below. We can bend this in any shape. We can slide it right under there. Now I can just hold it, tilt it over. You can see, super easy. Drain your oil this way and you will not make a mess. So make sure to check out these, and they have them in larger Forma funnels. This is a smaller one, and I will be owning the whole collection. So all of it, we're going to pull this Forma funnel out. Then I can spray it off with some brake cleaner, put it back in the cabinet. So if it's winter time, we use 1030 in our generators, and this is going to work the best. And I use full synthetic because it's not much more money, and this will last a lot longer, can take a lot more of a beating. But if it is summertime and you're working in hot conditions, you're probably going to want to use straight 30 weight, full synthetic too. I always recommend in these. But we're going to use 1030 because it's been like 20 degrees, and that 30 weight, if you use it, it's going to have hard starts because the oil is going to be so thick when it's cold. So just note that. You can run 30 weight in it all the time if you like. And the 30 weight is going to help if you're running it for a really long time because of course the oil's thicker. It won't thin out as much as 1030 once it gets warm. So I got these little cheap funnels that you put on the bottle, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to fill this thing up until it almost runs out, this right here. So I always take a rag and put around it, so when it is full it'll just pour out on it, won't make a mess. We're going to take our 1030. This is not going to take much, probably less than a half of a quart of oil. So as you can see, it's draining back out the fill hole. That means we are full of oil. Simple as that. So oil changes are super fast, super easy on these things, and they're just as fast on the bigger generators, which we'll be doing a video next on. So now we can just put our oil dipstick back in there. Now we got the oil changed, we can take out this silver screw right here. It's just a Phillips head, and this is our air filter box. We pull this top cover off, slide it out, and we have a foam filter. And you see ours is actually really clean, but it has a little bit of dust on it. So all we're going to want to do is get any of this dust off, wash it with like a little drop of Dawn dish soap, you know, and just sponge it out. And then when we're done, we can drop a few drops of oil on it, get it all soaked with the oil, put it back in. Your engine may smoke just a little bit. Make sure to wring out any extra oil that is in the filter when you do put it back in, but it might smoke the first startup, but that's not going to hurt anything. It's just going to keep our air filter grabbing all the particles, and that's what the oil is going to do in the filter. That yellow you're seeing is the original oil that is sent on the air filter. When we're done, we're going to want to wring out every single drop of water and then let it completely air dry before we put the new motor oil on it. Oh, so we got a little bit of Motrail oil on there. Just going to get it just damp, just dampen it up with it. As long as you don't have oil dripping out of it and stuff, it's good. Alright, so that's all done up. We can pop that right back in there. So now we have our oil changed out, have our air filter done. We can go on to this little cover right here. You don't have to take the main side cover off to check the spark plug. You just slide that, you reach in, pop the boot off. I'm going to do it through the side cover so you can see. So we got that popped off. It does have a rubber isolator you don't want to drop. This goes around the spark plug boot to make sure you don't lose that. That just keeps it sealed on the spark plug. So with these generators comes this little spark plug tool. It's actually extremely handy to have. You can see she's got some soot on her. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean this off with some brake cleaner and a wire brush just to get all that soot off of it, and then we can check our gap. So now we're going to check our spark plug gap with a spark plug gap tool. So this is just going to measure the gap. You can see it's falling about on 25 thousandths of an inch, and that's what they recommend. So that gap is good. Now with it all cleaned up, you can slide it back in there, make sure you're not cross threading it, and get it in there good and snug. Now make sure you have that rubber washer on your spark plug. Snap it back down on there. Then we can pop our lid back on and go ahead and also install our side cover. Now if you look on the back, you have about 6 screws holding on this back plate. Pop that panel off. There's the back of our generator. Now you have this little thing right here. Basically you got a Phillips head, you can pull it off. Once you loosen it, you slide that clamp off. Actually it's got a screw on the bottom as well. You can see all that soot. You can see all that soot build up in there. So we need to get every bit of that out so our exhaust can blow. So while we're letting that spark arrestor soak in some brake cleaner, here's the valve cover. I meant to mention at 300 hours you need to do a valve adjust. So it's kind of, it don't look like it's fun to get off, but you have 4 8mm. Pro tip. If you put electrical tape around your swivels, it makes them 1,000 times better. Exactly. I did the math. We did that.
Did you carry the 2 right though?
Well, no, I just got rid of the 2 because I didn't want to carry it around.
Yeah, makes sense.
So now you can bend that and it'll kind of stay. Okay. right. Now we can just pull that vacuum hose off your little baby valve cover. Now you can see our little baby shaft rockers. Now this is a way better design than a standard Predator 212 would have. So make sure we're at top dead center by pulling over the engine. You're going to notice this is the exhaust side. It opens, then the intake, then the exhaust should crack just a little bit, and now we're at top dead center. So we can slide our filler gauge in between valve stems and the rocker and check our valve blast real quick. I'm going to check mine with a 3/1000 feeler gauge. So all we're going to do is get it in between the rocker and the valve stem, and that's a pretty good scraping feel. It's good and tight, good and tight, and that one is as well. So our valves are actually still really good. You want to check this about every, I would do it every 3 oil changes because you're already in here and it's not much work, but our valves are still in really good shape. So if your valves was loose, what you do is, again, make sure at top dead center, and then you would crack open this 8mm and then use a small set of adjustable wrenches on this top head here. Tighten it up on the filler gauge with it installed in there. Get it snug where it scrapes, and then tighten up the jam nut that is the 8mm, and it's as easy as that. Make sure to hook up your valve cover to the vacuum line. Then we can put our 4 8mm back in. And so we're soaking that spark arrestor in some brake cleaner from your boys at Blaster. So we got that spark arrestor really clean. I blew it out with air after soaking it in some Blaster brake clean. And we'll just drop it back in this little stainless housing, and there's a screw on the bottom of Phillips' head that helps guide it on there. And slide our clamp back on and tighten it. So now we go ahead and give it a test fire. We turn this to on. This is basically letting your gas tank breathe so it won't like vapor lock on you. So if you're hauling this, you'd want to turn it to off so it won't spill any gas. We go down here, we turn it to on, pull the choke out. Bam! We have power! We have the power! And that's how you maintenance a Sidekick XP2000EH or SI generator. These are handy little things to have. Fit in the trunk of a car, fit in the passenger side seat of a car. They're super handy and they push out a ton of power. So make sure to check out the links to everything you've seen in the video. They do help us continue to do these videos. Big shout out to Duromax for supporting the channel for so long. We've been beating up their products and never have one fail us yet. So thank you, Duromax. We'll see you on the next one. We love you and God bless.